So another piece, of course, when you're looking at marketing, you want to make sure that when people see something from you, they recognize it over and over again. So you want to make sure that you've got consistency, and that's what we call a visual vocabulary. It includes colors, it includes the logo, it includes the overall design style, so that when, at a glance you can tell that this is from a particular company. So one of the areas that we looked at for Canby Telecom, they were changing their name from Canby Telephone Association. They had a visibility issue in Canby. This is actually a very progressive small rural telephone company, covers Canby. Canby had become, this was done about 5 years ago, Canby had become a bedroom community for Portland. So a lot of people expecting big city services had moved into Canby and figured the Canby Telephone Association couldn't provide them with internet and television and wireless and all the things they wanted, so they'd have to go to Sprint or they'd have to go to AT&T or someone like that. Well, Canby could, but nobody knew that because it was still the Canby Telephone Association. So the board had decided, let's change the name, Canby Telcom, let's broaden the reach. And we came in and said, let's create a design that's going to stand up against the Sprints and the AT&Ts. It's going to look fresh and modern, but it's also going to be different enough because Canby is still a fairly rural community. We wanted to create a symbol, the bird, that had some organic quality to it. Almost every other logo, if you do a scan of any other telecommunications company, is dots, it's globes, or it's swooshes. They're all graphic elements with nothing organic. So again, how do we differentiate? How do we relate to the area that's there, but also how do we make sure we appeal to people who are used to something more sophisticated than what they perceive the Canby Telephone Association could offer them? So we created the bird, we created a brand promise, faster, higher, farther. We applied that to a van, which was a huge touch point for them. They had a whole fleet of white vehicles, had little small blue names on it that said Canby Telephone Association, driving around the community, hello, free billboards. Let's see what we can do to get the word out. So we took those, we applied the graphics in a really dynamic way. It's not the same on both sides. Another piece you can also look at, it's not just about slapping the name on the side. Let's make it communicate. So logo big on one side, the other side has some smaller information, which I'll show you in a second, and of course applied everything through. The blue and orange gave it a very fresh and modern look. The colors were appropriate for that. It's not overly feminine, it's not overly masculine, but it does look very youthful and forward-thinking. So the other piece about this was when we look at touch points, we look at where is it that you have the opportunity to be more visible, that you're already out there. Do you have fleets? Do you have a signing? Do you have an environment that you can create that's really going to help people recognize who you are and distinguish you? So the trucks, as I said, were white trucks. We weren't allowed to change the color of the trucks, so we needed to put graphics on those. But within a couple of months after this was introduced, there was a whole lot of comment in the community about, wow, you guys are really got all new trucks or something. I'm really seeing you around. You must have really expanded the fleet. No, same trucks, different graphics. People were noticing. They had not noticed them before, and they had this opportunity. So how can you get that notice for yourself? In addition, we created an introductory campaign. This was a billboard, and the other was a full page ad in the local paper. So what I wanted to point out here is we took a different way to say higher, faster, farther, to emphasize, of course, television, computer, and telephone, internet and telephone. But the other piece we did is most phone companies like to list on the side of their trucks or in whatever promotions, gee, we have internet service, we have broadband, we have telephone, and we have IPTV or TV. We instead turn that around to the audience's point of view. What are they going to get when they sign up with Canby Telcom? They're going to get access to information, communication, and entertainment because they had everything. They were the first company in Oregon to introduce IPTV or television over the internet as a subscriber base. High quality, really phenomenal. So they were a very progressive company, but they didn't look like it. And they didn't appear like that until we got to rebrand them and give them that new level of information.